Good morning and welcome back to Life of Dave. Tuesday 21st of March, we're back down the boat. Well, I'm going to see what I can do today. Feeling much better, cold's gone now, so we're back to normal. However, I've done something to my shoulder. I've torn my shoulder out, I've done something to it, trapped a nerve, whatever, I've no idea. I thought it might have been a bit of arthritis, but you know, I'm not that old. Yeah, the cold weather's been affecting it last few weeks and all that. It's got better, and then yesterday it was agony. You know, I spent a day at work doing light duties. I could hardly use it. It was absolutely knackered. Heat pad on it last night, and the pain's gone away. It seems a lot better this morning, but I don't want to aggravate it. I can still feel it's niggling, so I'm going to take it easy today. We've got a little bit of sanding to do, hopefully a little bit of glassing to do. That'll be a bit lighter if I can do a bit of glassing. I can always use my other hand, and we'll see what we can get done. But yeah, I'm not going to break any records today. I'll just take it easy and work nice and slowly. Be careful. I don't want to do myself any more injury to it, whatever's wrong with it. I've got to go to work tomorrow, so yeah, we'll get done what we can. Right, let's crack on. Right, so last time down we got this done. So that's not looking bad. Zoom up to the top. All the way down to there. She's looking pretty good. So we've got some fairing to do and finishing, and we've got to blend it in down there so that everything looks nice, and everything needs, you know, smoothing off, and you know, some final finishing, shall we say. The last time down I managed to get a lot of this sanded. There's a few low spots that the sander just weren't hitting, so I've got to sort of dig into them a bit. There's a big low spot there. There's a couple of bits. Basically it's all been sanded over, but where the low spots are, the sander hasn't hit them, and they need keying up and sanding before I can put anything else on them. So that's got to be done. So I mean, this as a surface, I mean, would do. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but it's more than, you know, it's far better than the surface that was originally there. It's flatter, smoother, cleaner looking, but it's not good enough for me. It's just not. It's terrible. So yeah, whilst I don't want a massive build up of filler, I do want it to look nice. I want this to look fairly uniformly smooth. Now I'm not going to get it perfect. No way in the world am I going to get it perfect, because to build it up, there's a high spot there, it's low there, high there, low there, massively low there. Yeah, to build it up to get that completely level, I would have to put quite a layer of filler on, and I don't want that extra weight. So I'm going to skim it over, and we'll get it fairly smooth. You know, it'll look good enough. But basically, I've got to transition it so it looks smooth with this. So this layer is even with that layer, you know, and everything looks hunky-dory smooth, and it looks like one piece. And that's my plan. As long as it looks nice once it's all painted up, I'll be happy. You know, I just don't want it looking like a flaming mess. So I've still got to sand this side, blend all this into there. This is majorly lower compared to that, so we've still got build up with a layer of glass on that. That will bring it up a bit closer, and then fair the two surfaces together. So that should smooth that out nicely. This has been glassed up to here because I glassed all underneath. All this was glassed in before I'd done the locker. So yeah, we want to get this sanded and glassed. That would be good if we can get that done today, and if I can get anything else done, that'll be extra. Yeah, that'll be a bonus. It might be if I can get this glassed and maybe some of that. I don't think I'm going to have time to do all of it, and I've got a feeling I ain't going to be able to do too much today with my shoulder. I'm going to end up having to knock it off a bit early and call it a day, I think. So let's see what we can get done. I've got a bit of sanding to do, and then we'll work out from there where we're going. Although I want to get all that finished, I haven't touched this yet. I said next time I have the sander out, I'll take care of that. Be careful not to catch the back of this with the sander. Otherwise I'll take away the bit that I've built up from my hinges. I've just caught it a little bit there. Worrying. Gotta avoid sanding with my right hand if I can, because my shoulder's starting to hurt already. I'll take it nice and easy. Okay, that'll do for the day. I've still got to sand under there and sand all this off, but I'm not doing that today. I'm going to get the top done. I'm going to leave this to sanding when I pull this off and take all this off, so I can sand all that down for when I prep this bottom section, and I'll do all that as one bit then. I'm going to get all the rest done today. Right, let's get this knocked back. Dribble of resin had gone down there. That's just a bit of glass wood that I had used for that end plate. It's white one side, unfortunately it's yellow the other. It's not what I would have chose, but that's what I had, someone gave to me. So we'll make use of that. That's all ready to go anyway. These gel coated, and we'll cover that up. I was thinking of putting like a bit of stainless on there or something anyway, so where it's next to the cooker. Right, there we go, that's that sanded. I'd like to do this today, get them screws out, but it looks like it's going to absolutely pour down. I don't want to have the cover off and start doing that, and the weather changes. So I'll just quick run over by hand with a paper. It gets in all the undulations. Sure that it's all nice and scratched up, so that when I put a layer of filler on there, it's got something, it's keyed, it's got something to stick to. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, get a block on there and block it. There's no point in me blocking this, because if I block this, it will go from this high spot to that high spot and not touch the bit in the middle, which is the problem I've had with a flat sander. Whilst that's good for getting it level and all the rest of it, I mean, this isn't going to be level, like perfectly flat. This is curving from top to bottom as well. So, you know, the flat sander will make it flat. Really, it's got a slight curve on it, you know, up the side of the wall. So it's not going to be completely flat. I just don't want it so it's all ripply from top to bottom. So I'll smooth it down that way and across slightly so that it looks pretty flat, you know, but it will have a slight curve. But we're nearly there. That's pretty darn good, really. You can see the high spots where I've hit the glass. So all we've got to do really is fill in the low spots. I'm not going to have too much build up on it. I'll skim right over the lot and then sand it back until we can see those high spots again, and that will fill in the low spots. So you can literally see it. Look, like moon craters. See, there's the high spots around the edge. This whole bit here in the middle is low, and you can feel that. Obviously you can't see it on the camera. There's a low spot there,
There's a low spot there. You see the high spots. Then all you're going to do is fill in the low spots with some filler. Not a lot, just a tiny skim, and that'll do us. Okay, so I've cleaned all this up. So we've had a sand round. I've been round it a little bit more off the camera, and I've acetoned it all up. All this has been acetoned. I've sanded this front section up to here as well, so I can put a little bit on that and get this finished. I can only go down to where I've glassed there. This whole bottom section's still got to be glassed, so I'm not going to be doing it in this heavy cloth. I'm going to build that up with a bit of CSM. That was just where I folded round after doing the underside of the deck and coring it all. I glassed right over the top. We've got that to fair up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up some fairing compound. This is a marine grey fairing compound. Ow, one shoulder. Ow, 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 ow. Oh. So this is a marine grade polyfair that I'm using. So this one is compatible with your normal polyester resin. So I've got quite a big batch mixed up here. Now the problem with doing that is the more you mix up, the quicker it seems to go off, you know, because it creates more heat. So I'm not going to go in with too much catalyst. Obviously you need enough to make it go off, but we'll know if it's working by the colour as you're mixing it. So this stuff's quite a bright pink when it starts out, and once you start working that catalyst in, you can see it sort of greying up, you know. So now it's gone like a dark salmony pink, right? It's got more of a browny grey tinge to it. So a totally different colour now. Scrape that off of there. I'm going to turn my spreader and I'm going to use it widthways, because that way what we get is a straighter edge filling over any gaps that are there, leaving the low spots filled between the high spots. So I'll get this on here first. So it's going on quite thick at the moment, and hopefully before that starts setting I'm going to thin it out. That's the plan. Massive low spot there, look. I don't want it filling up inside that window. I've got to get this off of this board and thin it out quickly. Because this stuff goes off fast. I just want it all out off the board and onto the wall, shall we call it, the side of the boat. And then I can spread it out, hopefully before it dries and sets. So I won't get a perfect finish on it, I know that. It's more a case of just getting all the low spots taken care of. I'm hoping to get a pretty good finish with the filler, you know, get it somewhere near where it's supposed to be. Squeeze it right up to that top. You know, the less sanding I've got to do, the better, basically. I don't like sanding. So the less sanding, as far as I'm concerned, the better. I want this as close as I can get it. Any in there. Trouble with fillering, what happens, you get a nice edge and you think, yeah, it looks good. I could just do a little bit better. and then you touch it some more and it all goes to pot. Yeah, you tend to overwork filler. Everyone does it, we all do it. You think, oh, just a little bit more there and I can get that almost perfect without having to sand it. No, you can't, leave it alone. We all do it. I've got a couple of lines there I'm just trying to lose. I'm scraping that off now to thin it out. I don't want a thick build up, I just want to fill the low spots. Low spots there. So this is curving from top to bottom, so I've got to try not to make it look too flat as well. Would be much easier with that window not in the way really, but that's good. Right, I've got a wee bit left of this, so I'm going to get this spread out quick. Whack that up that front, because this is going to start going off pretty soon, I reckon. I'm just well aware that this ain't going to last long. So I've ascertained this all out. I've got some areas that need filling and glassing again. I'm not going to touch those just yet. I just want to get the worst of it filled. Before this goes off. It won't be long. You think, oh yeah, it's fine. All of a sudden it just goes, sets up. Goes really fast when it goes off. It's not going to be long, it's starting to go. It's going to go very soon. Just got to get this spread. Yeah, it's starting to cheese. I'll leave it alone. Just want to get that spread out smooth. Break that bit off, that's excess. Work that out. Quick rummage round the corner. That I think is going to have to do. This will have to be sanded and done again. I'm just really using up that little bit of filler. Some of it. That'll do. That's got a little layer over there at least, so I can give that some sandage. Ruined it. There you go. Should have left it alone. That's just gone. Break that off. See, overworked it. Get that last little bit on there. It's is going. No, that's gone, I think. It's too far gone. No, I'll leave that. Let that set up. Well, weren't a bad guesstimate. I've got a little spreader load left over. Yeah, so I'll have to let that set now. I would have liked to have got that on there, but it's still workable, but it's starting to gel. You know, it's starting to get that point where, as you're putting it on and spreading it out, it's got little lumps in. So that ain't going to be long, and that's going to kick off. And what I'll end up with is a load of mess left on there that I've got to basically scrape off and start again. Yeah, it's literally starting to tack now, so that's gone. Well, we got all that done. So I've covered that area. You can see that high spot still sticking through there as I scraped it off. So I've filled the low spots. I can still see through this. That's how light I've gone. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I can still see the glass through this. So it's quite thin. It's not a heavy layer. I don't want a massive build up of filler. You know, any flexing in the boat and that could crack and pop out. This is a very light skim. It might look heavy on the camera, but I'm going to assure you it's not. I can see through it all the way over. Even here, I can see through there. I can see through there, there. You know, there's a couple of little areas, obviously, where the real low spots are. That'll probably be a little bit thicker, but we're not talking a great deal. Once that's set up, that can be sanded down, and that is done. Yeah, unless I ruin it when I do the top half, yeah, it'll be good for gel coating. I might have to sand off some runs and whatnot, but it's pretty good, really. And I think that'll be more than flat enough for the finish I require. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be 100%. It is an old Shetland, but that will give me a much flatter finish than it was. To be honest, I could have painted it as it was without fairing it like that. I think that would have been acceptable, but in my mind I think this will make it even better. So this bit up here, I've got a little coverage on. It started gelling like going to cheese by the time I started putting it up there, so I've had to leave it. It doesn't really show up too well on camera, but there's a couple of little holes. I got this bit on alright. And then by the time I started doing this bit, it started going a little bit crappy, so I've just had to scrape it as flat as I can get it and leave it. And then there was a bit hanging down here, and I thought, oh, I'll just smooth that in, and no, ruined it. I had to scrape that off because it's all gone snotty, so it's just too far gone. Like I say, the thicker you mix this up, yeah, that's gone. The faster it goes off, and that's now turned into like a rubbery texture as that's going off now. That'll start heating up. I'm going to leave that to set up, then we can break it off the spreader. This here, I'm just going to clean up that, then get rid of that, look. And I'm just going to rake out this area here. I'm just going to rake out this area here because I don't want that jamming up me door shut. I already cleaned it out last time. I don't want to have to keep doing that, and that means more sanding and potentially taking glass away off the door shut. And every time I have to sand that, it's a little bit more that I'm going to take out accidentally, you know, and there'll be nothing left for it to close against, so I'll end up having to put another bit in there, and I don't want to do that. Right, that's that done. So I think now we're going to get this side sanded, and then we'll have a look at the time, and yeah, go from there. Get that sanded down. If I've got time, we'll do a little bit of glassing on that side, and I think that'll probably be cutting it quite fine, to be honest. Right, back in a moment.